Every night, as the world grows quiet and the chaos of the day finally surrenders to darkness, you are handed the most powerful creative tool known to humanity. Not in some distant laboratory or boardroom, not in the hands of the wealthy or the connected. Right there, in those precious moments between waking and sleeping, you hold the master key to reshaping your entire existence. While 7 billion people drift into unconsciousness, treating sleep as nothing more than biological maintenance, you have the opportunity to become an architect of reality. In those twilight moments, when your conscious mind releases its death grip on limitation, when the barriers between what is and what could be dissolve like morning mist, you can plant the seeds of transformation that will bloom in your waking world. This isn't wishful thinking dressed up in spiritual language. This is the most practical power you will ever possess. And tonight you begin to wield it with precision and purpose. Think about Thomas Edison, hunched over his workbench after another failed attempt at the incandescent bulb. While his critics called him a dreamer, while investors questioned his sanity, Edison understood something profound about the nature of creation. He knew that every breakthrough begins in the realm of imagination before it crystallizes into reality. But Edison took it further. He discovered that the drowsy state, that subliminal space between consciousness and sleep, was where true innovation lived. He would sit in his chair, holding steel balls in his hands, and allow himself to drift into that twilight state where solutions emerged from the depths of consciousness. When the balls dropped and woke him, he would capture the visions that came in those precious moments. This wasn't mere relaxation. This was Edison accessing the same creative force that you can harness every single night. The ancient mystics knew this secret. The great achievers of history stumbled upon it. But in our modern world of endless distraction and chemical sleep aids, we've forgotten the profound truth that lies at the heart of human potential. Your subconscious mind, in those moments before sleep, becomes infinitely programmable. Right now, as you listen to these words, your brain is processing 60,000 thoughts per day. Most of them are recycled fears, doubts, and limitations that you've been carrying like chains around your ankle. But in the sacred space between waking and sleeping, your analytical mind steps aside. The bouncer at the door of your subconscious takes a break, and in that unguarded moment, you can slip past every barrier that has kept you trapped in mediocrity. Walt Disney understood this principle without ever reading a psychology textbook. Night after night, as he lay in bed, he would visualize his theme park in vivid detail. Not just the rides or the buildings, but the laughter of children, the wonder in their eyes, the joy that would radiate from every corner of his magical kingdom. He felt it, he lived it, he breathed it in those moments before sleep claimed him. And then he woke up and built Disneyland. This wasn't positive thinking. This wasn't hoping or wishing or praying to some external force for deliverance. This was Disney programming his subconscious mind with such clarity and emotional intensity that it had no choice but to manifest his vision in the physical world. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. To the deeper levels of your psyche, a powerfully visualized scene carries the same emotional and neurological weight as a lived memory. When you consistently feed your subconscious mind images of success, abundance, and achievement in that receptive pre-sleep state, you're not just daydreaming, you're rewiring the fundamental operating system of your life. But here's where most people fail. They approach visualization like a casual hobby. They half-heartedly imagine their goals for 30 seconds before falling asleep, wondering why nothing changes. They treat their mind like a vending machine, insert positive thought, expect instant result. This approach is not just ineffective, it's insulting to the profound creative force that lives within you. True visualization, the kind that moves mountains and transforms destiny, requires the emotional intensity of absolute conviction. When Andrew Carnegie lay in bed visualizing his steel empire, he didn't just see factories and profits. He felt the weight of responsibility to his workers. He experienced the satisfaction of building something lasting. He lived in the reality of his vision with such completeness that his waking actions became inevitable expressions of his sleeping dreams. This is why the drowsy state is so crucial. In those moments, your emotional barriers are down. Your skeptical mind has stepped aside. The part of you that says this is impossible, or who am I to dream so big, falls silent. In that vulnerability, in that openness, you can feel your desires as if they're already, and feeling, not just thinking but feeling, is the secret ingredient that transforms visualization from fantasy into prophecy. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's greatest military strategists, attributed his victories not just to battlefield tactics, but to his ability to triumph before it occurred. Night after night, he would visualize his campaigns in meticulous detail. He would see his armies moving across the terrain, anticipate his enemies' responses, and experience the moment of victory with such clarity that when he stepped onto the actual battlefield, he was simply executing a plan that had already seeded in his mind. This wasn't superstition. This was Napoleon understanding that the outer world must conform to the inner world when that inner world is held with unwavering conviction and emotional intensity. But visualization without feeling is like trying to start a fire with wet matches. You can strike them all you want, but without the spark of genuine emotion, nothing ignites. This is where most people stumble. They visualize their goals as if they're watching a movie about someone else's life. They see themselves successful, but they don't feel successful. They imagine abundance, but they don't embody the state of abundance. When Henry Ford lay in bed visualizing the assembly line that would revolutionize manufacturing, he didn't just see the concept. He felt the satisfaction of solving an impossible problem. He experienced the pride of creating something that would change the world. He lived in the emotional reality of his innovation with such intensity that his subconscious mind had no choice but to find a way to make it manifest. The drowsy state amplifies this emotional programming because your defenses are down. The voice that normally says be realistic or don't get your hopes up is temporarily silent. In that silence, in that openness, you can feel your way into states of being that your waking mind would normally reject as impossible. This is why consistency matters more than duration. 5 minutes of emotionally charged visualization before sleep, repeated night after night, will rewire your subconscious more effectively than hours of half-hearted daydream. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition and emotional intensity, not through lengthy exposition or intellectual analysis. During Britain's darkest hour, Winston Churchill understood this concept. As bombs fell on London and the world seemed to be crumbling around him, he would lie in bed and visualize victory with such clarity and conviction that it became more real to him than the chaos outside his home. He didn't just hope for triumph, he lived in the reality of triumph. He felt the moment when the war would end, when freedom would prevail, when history would vindicate his unwavering faith. And in that feeling, in that unshakable inner conviction, he found the strength to lead a nation through its greatest triumph. Your visualization must be specific, detailed, and sensory-rich. The more clearly you can see, hear, feel, smell, and taste your desired reality, the more powerfully it imprints itself on your subconscious. When you visualize success, don't just see yourself being successful. Feel the confidence flowing through your body. Hear the conversations that confirm your achievement. Experience the satisfaction of knowing you've become who you were meant to be. This specificity isn't about micromanaging the universe. It's about programming your subconscious mind with such clarity that it knows exactly what to move you. Your subconscious is constantly filtering your perception, directing your attention, and influencing your actions based on what it believes to be true about you and your work. When you consistently feed it images of success and achievement, it begins to notice opportunities that align with those images. It starts to move you toward people, situations, and circumstances that match your internal program. But this process requires something that our instant gratification culture struggles with: patience and persistence. The greatest achievements in history weren't manifested overnight. They were born in the quiet moments before sleep, nurtured through months and years of consistent visualization, and finally delivered through focused action aligned with unwavering inner conviction. When you begin this practice tonight, don't expect your life to transform by morning, but do expect something profound to begin shifting in the deeper levels of your consciousness. Expect your dreams to become more vivid and purposeful. Expect opportunities to present themselves that align with your visualization. Expect your actions to become more decisive and effective as they align with the reality you're creating in your mind. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need special equipment or expensive courses or guru guidance. You need only the willingness to take those precious moments before sleep serious, to treat them as sacred time when you commune with the creative force of the universe that lives within your own consciousness. As you lie in bed tonight, as your body relaxes and your mind grows quiet, remember that you're not just preparing for rest. You're entering the laboratory where miracles are manufactured, where the impossible becomes inevitable, where the life you've always dreamed of begins to take shape in the realm of pure possibility. Feel yourself already living in the reality of your dream. Don't just see it, inhabit. Let every cell of your being resonate with the truth of your visualization. In that feeling, in that complete emotional alignment with your desired reality, you activate forces that will conspire to bring your inner world into outer manifest. The power has always been within you. Tonight, you finally learn to use it. Every night, millions of people surrender to sleep without realizing they're walking away from the control room of their destiny. They treat those drowsy moments as dead time, as biological necessity, as nothing more than the intermission between one day of struggle and the next. But you now know better. You understand that in the theater of consciousness, the intermission is when the stage is reset for the next act of your life. Consider the great inventors, the visionary leaders, the artists who changed the world. They all shared one common practice, whether they recognized it or not. They used the power of their imagination in that sacred space between waking and sleeping to create realities that didn't yet exist. They understood intuitively what modern neuroscience is just beginning to prove, that the brain in the drowsy state is infinitely more programmable than the brain in full waking consciousness. When you lie down tonight, you're not just resting your body. You're accessing a state of consciousness that the ancient mystery schools called the borderland, the place where the veil between what is and what could be becomes gossamer thin. In this state, your skeptical mind, your inner critic, your voice of limitation, all fade into the back. What remains is pure creative potential, waiting for your direction. This is where Andrew Carnegie built his empire before he laid a single brick. This is where Einstein visualized the theory of relativity before he wrote a single equation. This is where every great achievement in human history was first experienced as an inner reality before it became an outer manifest. But the visualization must be more than mere pictures in your mind. It must become a full-body experience, a complete sensory immersion in the reality you're creating. When you visualize your success, don't just see yourself succeed. Feel the emotions that success would bring. Experience the confidence, the satisfaction, the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you've become who you were meant to be. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently visualize yourself as confident, successful, and accomplished with genuine emotional intensity, your nervous system begins to wire itself as if these qualities are already true. Your posture changes, your speech patterns shift, your decision-making process evolves. You begin to move through the world as the person you've been visualizing yourself to be. This isn't self-deception. This is self-creation. This is the fundamental principle upon which all lasting transformation is built. You must become it in consciousness before you can express it in circumstance. The timing is crucial. That drowsy state before sleep is when your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programs. During your waking hours, your conscious mind acts as a filter, rejecting ideas that don't align with your current self-concept. But as you drift towards sleep, this filter weakens. The gatekeeper steps aside. And in that moment of vulnerability, you can slip new beliefs, new possibilities, new realities past the guards of limitation. This is why the practice must be consistent. One night of powerful visualization might plant a seed, but transformation requires cultivation. Night after night, you must tend to your inner garden, watering your dreams with the emotion of their fulfillment, nurturing your visions with the conviction of their inevitability. When Colonel Sanders was rejected by over 1,000 restaurants before someone finally agreed to use his chicken recipe, what kept him going wasn't just determination. It was his ability to see, to feel, to live in the reality of his eventual success every single night before he fell asleep. While others saw a broke old man with a crazy idea, Sanders saw himself as the founder of a global empire. He held that vision with such intensity that rejection became nothing more than stepping stones toward the inevitable manifestation of his inner reality. Your visualization must be personal, specific, and emotionally charged. Don't visualize generic success. Visualize your success. Don't imagine abstract abundance. Imagine the specific abundance that would fulfill your deepest purpose. The more personal and detailed your visualization, the more powerfully it programs your subconscious mind. But here's the paradox that trips up most people. You must visualize from the end, not from the beginning. Don't visualize yourself trying to achieve your goals. Visualize yourself having already achieved. Don't see yourself working towards success. See yourself being successful. The emotion you want to cultivate is not hope or desire, but gratitude and satisfaction for what has already been accomplished in the realm of consciousness. This shift in perspective changes everything. When you visualize from the end, when you feel the emotion of fulfillment rather than longing, you align yourself with the frequency of achievement rather than the frequency of wanting. You become a magnet for the circumstances, opportunities, and people that match your inner state of being. Do you know who understood this principle intuitively? Nikola Tesla. He would visualize his inventions in such complete detail that he could run them in his mind, identify problems, and make improvements without ever building a physical prototype. His inner laboratory was so vivid, so precise, that when he finally constructed his devices in the physical world, they worked exactly as he had visualized them. You must see your desired reality with such precision that it becomes more real to you than your current circumstance. You must feel your future success with such intensity that it overshadows any present challenges. But visualization without action is merely fantasy. The purpose of programming your subconscious mind is not to avoid effort, but to ensure that your efforts are aligned with your highest possibility. When your inner reality is crystal clear, your outer actions become laser focused. You stop wasting energy on activities that don't serve your vision. You start recognizing opportunities that others miss. You begin to move with the confidence and purpose of someone who knows their destination. Theodore Roosevelt didn't become president by accident. Long before he held any political office, he would visualize himself as a leader of men, as someone who could rally a nation to its highest ideals. He felt the weight of responsibility, the satisfaction of service, the pride of making a difference. When opportunities for leadership presented themselves, he was already prepared at the deepest level of his. This preparation happens in the quiet moments before sleep. This is where you build the inner foundation that will support whatever outer success you achieve. This is where you develop the character, the confidence, the unwavering self-belief that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who merely dream. Your overall confidence will increase. Your decision-making will become more decisive. Your ability to handle challenges will strengthen. This happens because you're not just programming specific outcomes, you're programming yourself to be the type of person who achieves those outcomes. The great secret is that success is not something you get. It's something you become. And you become it first in consciousness, in those precious moments when your mind is most open to transformation, when your imagination can reshape the very foundation of your identity. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're not ending your day, you're beginning the creation of your tomorrow. In those drowsy moments when the noise of the world fades away, when your analytical mind releases its hold on limitation, you have access to the same creative force that spun galaxies into existence and breathed life into matter. Use it with the full knowledge that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the architect of your reality. Every night is a new opportunity to plant seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Every morning is a chance to water those seeds with aligned action. The life you've always wanted isn't somewhere out there waiting for you to find it. It's inside you right now, waiting for you to claim it, to feel it, to live it first in the realm of imagination so it can manifest in the realm of experience. Tonight you take the first step. Tonight you begin to dream with purpose. Tonight you start building the bridge between who you are and who you're destined to become. The power of sleep and visualization isn't just a technique. It's your birthright as a conscious being. It's the method by which ordinary people become extraordinary, by which dreams become reality, by which the impossible becomes inevitable. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and begin to see yourself as you truly are, unlimited, powerful, and destined for great. Feel it, live it, become it, and then wake up tomorrow ready to make it real.